It is great to be home again. The Padres, having just spent some time on the road, back in San Diego and Petco Park. And one of the stars recently on the road, Everth Cabrera, he'll be back in the lineup tonight. Yesterday, 4 for 5, 4 singles, an RBI and a run scored, but he'll have his hands full tonight as he will face Steven Strasburg, the San Diego native, making his first career Major League start here at Petco. It is the Padres and the Nationals, game one of a 4-game set. The Nationals trying to find their way, and the Padres have been red hot, 13-6 in their last 19 games, 9-1 in their last 10 games here at Petco. Great to have you with us this evening alongside Mark Sweeney. I'm Mike Pomerantz. Dick Enberg, Mark Grant have the night off tonight. And for the Nationals, as I mentioned, trying to find their way, they'll look at Steven Strasburg. But for the Padres, the bottom of the lineup, especially in Baltimore, the series they just took to from the Orioles, looking very good.
Yeah, I think Bud Black looks brilliant as a manager, and the reason for it, he's giving his bench players some time, especially on a day game. And you go back to Saturday and Jesus Guzman getting all changeups and making a difference with a blast to left and a grand slam. That was a huge hit. And we go to yesterday. This is where John Baker sat on that off-speed pitch by Freddie Garcia. Nice job getting ahead for the San Diego Padres. Kyle Blanks, again, Buddy Black being brilliant, inserting Kyle Blanks in there, and the little ninja doing his work with a monster game. That's what you have to do for day games if you're a bench player. It's opportunities, and they made the most of them.
Pitching's been pretty good. The defense has been very good, and the starting pitching in particular, something we know everybody at home's been focusing on. Tonight will fall to Edinson Volquez and Steven Strasburg. For Volke, he's been able to find his way. Wins in 3 of his last 4 outings.
So many great adjustments that Edinson Volquez has made. I think he's slowed the game down, and you have to do that because he has electric stuff. When he gets behind it and he doesn't float left with his head, he's on line, and you can throw that nasty stuff and finish hitters off. Edinson Volquez has made some great adjustments.
Well, for Steven Strasburg, he's been all about trying to find a little offensive help. He's 1-5, Mark. His first game is the only game he's won this season.
It's all about doing his job on the mound. That's the only thing you can control, and he has 3 elements: a fastball, a breaking ball, and a devastating changeup to finish hitters. And Steven Strasburg, there's a buzz in San Diego that is very excited to see him definitely on the mound for the first time here in San Diego as a professional.
Bit of a buzz, too, in the Nationals clubhouse. Bryce Harper is back in action after a problem with a wall on Monday. And when we come back, we're going to talk to some of the Padres about how they feel about going all out and just playing smart baseball.
Taking the wall head-on in Dodger Stadium a few days ago. When asked about the play, whether he should have dialed things back maybe a little, Harper quickly defended himself, saying that's who he is. He plays this game as hard as he can every day, and he wouldn't change that. Padres outfielder Kyle Blanks knows a thing or two about taking on the outfield wall, and he says it is a tricky dynamic in the outfield, but you got to play it smart.
When you get caught in between is, I think, when you have those moments where you either kind of pull up a little too early because you're not sure where you're at, or you know, obviously the thing that nobody wants to do is you run into the wall or just run into some type of obstacle you weren't ready for. But you know, I think most of it just has to do with, you know, recognizing what you're capable of on that particular play every time.
You know, the more experience you have, the easier it'll get. Bryce Harper certainly said he could learn from that experience. Coming up, Strasburg between the Padres and the Nationals. Washington gets their young superstar Bryce Harper back in the lineup tonight following a scary run-in with the outfield wall at Dodger Stadium just a few days ago. And when asked about whether he should have dialed things back a little bit, Harper quickly defended himself, saying that's who he is, that's how he plays this game as hard as he can every day, and he wouldn't change that. Padres outfielder Kyle Blanks knows a thing or two about running into the outfield walls, but Kyle says his isn't it very different. You gotta be safe while you're out there and know what you're doing.
When you get caught in between is, I think, when you have those moments where you either kind of pull up a little too early because you're not sure where you're at, or you know, obviously the thing that nobody wants to do is you run into the wall or just run into some type of obstacle you weren't ready for. But you know, I think most of it just has to do with, you know, recognizing what you're capable of on that particular play every time.
That is our Geico quote of the game, and Kyle went on to say, you know, it takes experience out there in the outfield, and Bryce Harper said certainly he would learn from that experience. Coming up next, it's Edinson Volquez and Steven Strasburg in Game 1 of this 4-game set against the Nationals. Mike Pomeranz and Mark Sweeney will have the call when we get back after the break.
Thursday night baseball here at Petco. Edinson Volquez and the Padres, Game 1 of a 4-game set with the Washington Nationals, who had just had their hands full with the Dodgers in L.A. Taking 1 of 3. Davey Johnson managing the Nationals. Been there since 2011. This will be his last year, though, before he becomes a consultant in the organization. Right now, Edinson Volquez gets ready to face Denard Span, who's going to be leading things off. Mark Sweeney, Mike Pomeranz with you, and here's the first pitch of the ball game. Span takes it low for ball 1. Edinson quickly evens the count for the Nationals. They're coming off one of their worst Aprils in recent memory, 13-14 in the month, picking it up a bit in May, 8-5.
You can see that unorthodox approach by Denard Span, sitting down with that early toe tap. It's been a nice addition for the Washington Nationals. They needed a defender in center field. They went to get with some speed.
Picked up Span in a trade with the Minnesota Twins. Twins getting Alex Meyer, the right-handed pitcher in that deal. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Span.
Let's take a look at the toe tap by Denard Span. The early tap with his front foot. Very awkward, but he wants to use his hands. That's a method, just to try to use your hands and take a lot of movement out of your swing.
So for Span, he has been asked by Davey Johnson to try to get things going. Comes into this hitting .275. Will run a bit. Has 5 bags on the year. And we'll be keeping a close eye on Edinson Volquez, who has pitched very well as of late. 3-0 in his last 4 decisions. Last 4 starts. His last start being a no decision. A great night for baseball. The Padres certainly happy to be home after taking 2 in a row from the Orioles in Baltimore. Really a tale of 2 road trips. You're just picking up the paper this morning. You know the team had lost 3 in Tampa to the Rays. Head into Baltimore, pick up 2 against a very hot Baltimore team. And now it's home for a stretch.
A devastating loss in Tampa against your closer. They showed their moxie as a ball club, winning 2 games in Baltimore. That's a tough team.
So Span takes the 8th pitch of that at bat and draws a walk. Here's tonight's Nationals lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. Steve Lombardozzi coming to the plate. He will bat second, place second. Then Bryce Harper, who's back in the lineup after running into the wall on Monday in Los Angeles. Ryan Zimmerman, Adam LaRoche, Ian Desmond, Roger Bernardina, Kurt Suzuki, and Steven Strasburg. Lombardozzi off to a very slow start, hitting .214. And again, keep an eye on Denard Span. Edinson Volquez certainly will. Span's got 5 stolen bases on this young season. And Volquez evens the count at a ball and a strike.
Now Lombardozzi, one of those National League players. You can play him in all kinds of positions. Very important to have, and I know Davey Johnson's very excited about that. Played left field last 2 nights up in LA. Second base tonight.
Good looking fastball from Volquez, just freezes Lombardozzi, and he is out on strikes for the first out of the inning.
You see this front door sinker, very difficult if you're left-hander. You give up on it early, and you can see Lombardozzi did not see that out of Edinson Volquez's hands. Beautiful pitch by Edinson.
So with 1 out, that'll bring up last year's Rookie of the Year, just 20 years old. Bryce Harper comes in hitting .300, leading his team in home runs and RBIs. 10 long balls, 21 runs driven in. Had a pinch hit last night in LA. Said he just wanted to prove to himself and to manager Davey Johnson that he was good enough to go, but he took 11 stitches in that impact with the wall and has since shaved the beard.
Oh, it's like a train wreck. That is not a good feeling. I did it in college baseball. Still twitching today because of it.
Harper rolled this one over to Cabrera, who go to second for 1. And he can't pick it at first, and Harper's off, but yonder's got a play, and they'll get to the hard way. What a turn bounce to Yonder Alonso, and he guns down Bryce Harper. And that will do it for the Nationals in the first. They try to get something going. A little razzle-dazzle by the Padres, and Washington comes up with a goose egg. The Padres coming to bat. Everett Cabrera set to lead off. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. And by Petco, where the healthy pets go. By Farmers Insurance. Contact your local agent at 888-96-FARMERS. And by the Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury. Sun going down here at Petco Park. The team happy to be home after 5 games on the road, 3 losses to Tampa Bay and a couple of wins in Baltimore. Here's tonight's Padres lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Everett Cabrera, as you see, is going to lead things off. Then Will Venable, Chase Headley, Yonder Alonso, Kristen Orfia, Jed Jerko, Alexi Amarista, Nick Hundley, and Edinson Volquez.
You see Alexi in there earning his start today. The monster day yesterday in Baltimore.
A couple doubles and a home run for Alexi. Everett Cabrera, also a nice series.
He's done some great things, Mike. You know, he continues to get better. He's slowing the game down. Defensively, he's made a difference. Exciting player.
We expect to see the big fastball from Steven Strasburg. On average, the best fastball in baseball right now. Almost 96 miles an hour. But Everett Cabrera can turn one of those around with anybody. Everett 5 for 10 in that series in Baltimore. 4 hits yesterday.
A good swing right there by Everett. Looking out over the plate. Fastball count. He's looking out over the outer edge. Sometimes that velocity will get you underneath the baseball. Something to watch all night tonight.
That ball is ripped to center field, but Denard Spenge right underneath that one for the first out of the inning.
Let's take the repertoire of Steven Strasburg. Multiple out pitches, and you can see the stuff early. He's got that power fastball, breaking ball, and also that changeup that he likes to embarrass hitters with. Power curveball with tilt. That's late action in the strike zone, and he must control his emotions. It's a buzz here in San Diego. He's very excited to pitch in front of his hometown crowd. First time he's ever done that.
Here's Will Venable. Will 2 for 7 in that Baltimore series, comes in hitting .250. 5 home runs. Lifts this one to right. And Roger Bernardina is camped under this one. Here's a look at the Nationals defense, brought to you by Hyundai this evening. Bryce Harper in left field, Denard Span, as you saw, in center, and Roger Bernardina in right. Across the infield, it'll be Ryan Zimmerman, Ian Desmond, Steve Lombardozzi, Adam LaRoche, Kurt Suzuki, and Steven Strasburg. Here's Chase Headley taking the first pitch down.
You'll see some takes on that breaking ball because you just can't hit it. Can't sit on that breaking ball, so you should try to eliminate it if you're the Padres until you get 2 strikes. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
You know, just taking a look at Steven Strasburg's numbers overall, everything is about where you'd expect from him except his wins and losses. He pours over the 2-0. He's 1-5, won his first start of the year against the Marlins April 1st. And there's the first hit of the day for the Padres. Chase Headley rips that one past the diving Adam LaRoche.
Yeah, just a simple approach by Chase Headley, but he takes this changeup and wraps it into right field. Under control, simple swing, and it works.
Here's Yonder Alonso. Yonder hitting .271, 4 home runs, 23 runs driven in.
Well, with 2 outs, Mike, you got to be aware of balls in the dirt. You got to be aggressive on the bases if you're the Padres. I know Dave Roberts was in everybody's ear around the locker room today, because you have to take chances when you have a man like Steven Strasburg and the type of stuff. He can shut you out, but you got to take chances on the base pass if you can.
Well, Chase can run, and behind the plate, Kurt Suzuki for the Nationals has thrown out only 2 of 18 base runners. And this ball pounded to second. Lombardozzi, nice spin move, and that will retire Yonder Alonso and the Padres. That'll do it at the end of 1. We are scoreless. Ryan Zimmerman will lead off. At home, taking a few moments, enjoy their Padres Mark Sweetie, Mike Pomeranz, Kelly Kroll with you as Dick Enberg and Mark Grant enjoy a night off. Edinson Volquez on the mound for the Padres, top of the second inning, scoreless. And Ryan Zimmerman is the hitter, the 2009 All-Star. Having a little bit of an injury issue over the last couple of seasons.
Good pitches by Edison, just off the edges. Looks like that's where they want to work early in the count, but to Ryan Zimmerman.
Zimmerman coming in hitting .269 with a home run and 16 runs driven in. And this Nationals offense has been lackluster by their own assessment, and their pitching has kept them just one game behind the Braves.
Well, they're built to the pitching. You talk to anyone in the Washington Nationals organization, they talk about we pitch, we play defense. The defense has been a problem. But when they're throwing out some guys, and even in the bullpen, they get some power arms.
So Zimmerman draws a walk. That's the second one issued by Volquez this evening.
Well, here's tonight's scouting report brought to you by Jaguar. For Edinson Volquez, he's got to slow his tempo down, repeat his delivery, and put up zeros early. He put up a 0 in the first. But the Nationals 16-2 when they score first in a ball game.
A leadoff walk in the first, a leadoff walk now in the second. Adam LaRoche, Silver Slugger, Gold Glove winner from a year ago. Right now, though, hitting .214.
I talked to Adam in the locker room. Said, Adam, how you feeling? Well, .214 is not a comfortable feeling for him, and he's a professional. He said, I'm going to get mine. It's that confidence that he has. You know, that's that veteran presence. Very lackadaisical style, but he's swinging a hot bat right now. When he is, he can be hot for a long time. You talk to Davey Johnson about the veterans on this ball club. It gives them a lot of leeway to run that clubhouse.
Volquez falls behind LaRoche now, 2 balls, no strikes, but they're certainly counting on LaRoche to up his game a little bit. He's been playing well, as you mentioned there, as of late. 12-game hitting streak for him, hitting .390 over that span, but give you an indication of how slow he started. As I mentioned, he's hitting .214. He's up from .129.
You can see that relaxed style. He's got a longer swing, got a lot of pop, and it's almost a golf swing if you think about it, because he has a good release. He has quick hands. Sometimes you have a longer swing, you got to pull your hands in. He's doing a much better job. Washington Nationals brass has talked about when he gets hot, he can carry a club.
And back-to-back walks issued by Edinson bring up Ian Desmond. Let's take a look at the Padres defense. Brought to you by Aramco Mortgage tonight. Kristen Orfia will play left. Alexi Amarista again in center field. Will Venable in right, and around the horn it'll be Chase Headley, Everett Cabrera, Jed Jerko, Yonder Alonso. And your battery this evening is Nick Hundley and Edinson Volquez.
Well, Darren Balsley out to talk to Edison. It's about reminders now and during the season. You've had your base of starts. You understand the adjustments you have to make. They're easier adjustments to make now. Darren Balsley he's so impressive because around baseball, he's very well thought of, but you don't hear his name a lot. And that's shocking to me. He has a lot of passion for his job.
Here's Ian Desmond, athletic shortstop, hitting .288 with 6 home runs. Nobody out, first and second for Washington. I mentioned the Nationals really struggling offensively. They come into tonight 0 for their last 14 with runners in scoring position. 13th in the National League out of 15 clubs in runs scored. 13th in average. Padres want to keep them ice cold.
A good pitch on the outside edge.
Just missed. The crowd doesn't like it, but only one person's opinion matters, and it's not Buddy Black's. It's the man in blue.
Oh, you can see Nick Hundley setting off the plate. Nice comebacker. You got to take that chance.
Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire.
You can see Southland Technology has that pitch off the plate, but finishes him off with a breaking ball.
Second strikeout of the game for Edinson Volquez, and the first out of the inning.
Well, this is a backup curveball. One of the toughest pitches to hit because you're so used to seeing that break. You're expecting it to break a little more outside. It backs up on you. You go back to the dugout and say, what was that? That was a backup breaking ball. I've missed a lot of those.
14 years in the big leagues, you've probably seen a lot of them too. Par for the course.
More than I wanted to.
You fail 7 out of 10 times, you go to the Hall of Fame. Here's Roger Bernardina. 133 is his average. Do not be fooled. This young man led the team in the second half last season at a 328 clip. Edinson again falls behind. 2-0 to Bernardina. One out, first and second, double play in order. This ball lifted to left. Dorfia gives it a look, and it's foul.
Roger Bernardina wants that pitch back. 2-0, looking fastball. You get that pitch middle away, and you're late on it.
Mark Loretta said it in the pregame show too. I mean, Edinson Volquez, there's no question he's got great stuff.
Oh, he's got #1 stuff. It's that consistency that he battles. Good changeup.
Counts even, 2 apiece. Buddy Black says it all the time. Pitcher's going to be stressed a few times, the starter, in each game. And this is a big moment for Edinson Volquez. If he can get his team back in the dugout unscathed.
A tough man to double up. A lot of speed by Bernardina. Good pitch.
It's one way to polish him off. The strikeout of Bernardina, his second in a row, the third of the game for Edinson. Timeout for the Wendy's. Now that's better profile. Edinson Volquez this season. First 3 games marked 0-3. Last 5, 3-0. The ERA really the difference maker.
Yeah, and it's all about adjustments. We talked about the pitching coach, Darren Balsley. They get together. It's all about Edison throwing the pitches, but you've got to have somebody, another set of eyes, and that's what Darren Balsley is to Edinson Volquez. It's a trust factor that they have.
Here's Kurt Suzuki. 6-game hitting streak at stake tonight, hitting .247.
Well, up in L.A. last night, Wilson Ramos, another catcher for the Washington Nationals, re-injures his right hamstring. Sorry, left hamstring. Was on the DL last month with the same injury. Very frustrating. Gives at bats to Kurt Suzuki.
It is a nicked up league. A lot of teams battling injuries. Padres certainly have had their fair share. No sympathy at this level, is there?
Well, everyone deals with it, Mike. Something to deal with. It's adversity. Makes your team better. Gives other guys opportunities.
Edinson Volquez, perhaps a master of forcing the uncomfortable at bat. Effectively wild, you might say. He's got a couple of walks in the inning and a couple of strikeouts. He is now 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 on against Kurt Suzuki. And he gets Suzuki to wave at an off-speed pitch. Punches out the side after a couple of walks. You are gone. And the Padres come to bat in the bottom of the second.
Update on Padres lefty Clayton Richard, who made his first start in his rehab stint in AAA Tucson. A very solid outing for Clayton as he went 6 innings. You see there just 4 hits, 1 earned run, and 8 strikeouts. And best of all, Bud Black says his arm feels good. He's stronger than he has been. He will make one more start on Tuesday with AAA Tucson, but certainly good news for the Padres, guys.
Absolutely. Buddy Black's got to be thrilled just being able to have that guy that he can count on. And while Clayton certainly has had some struggles this season, he's been so consistent for this club and works quickly, keeps the defense on its toes. So good deal for Clayton Richard.
Well, I need him back, Mike, and this is a workhorse that sets the example in the clubhouse.
Here's Chris Denorfia, hitting .291, couple of home runs, 12 runs driven in this season. Couple of hits in that Baltimore series. He is in left field tonight.
Well, as you can see from that breaking ball, he throws it for a strike. You're going to get some knee buckles. That's what I talk about stuff. He has 3+ pitches at the big league level, and he's still learning. That's a scary thought.
Goes outside corner, but Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, says it's off the plate. Chris DeNorfia now working an even count against the fireballer. And he goes 91 miles an hour off speed to get Chris DeNorfia for the first out of the inning. It's time now for the Sequan Casino Daycation stat of the game. And tonight, we'll take a look at Steven Strasburg and the number of strikeouts he has as compared to his brethren on the pitching staff, leading the staff with 51 punch-outs so far this season.
Well, you shake your head at that pitching staff. That's why so many experts pick this team to win the National League, if not go to the World Series and win it, because of the pitching.
And Jed Jerko gets his first look at a Steven Strasburg fastball, 97 above the belt.
Yeah, Mike, and he's going to vary at 95 to 98 miles an hour tonight. You know, the challenge when you get that fastball up there, you got to get your hands on top of the baseball with that velocity. Very difficult to do. And then when you sit on that fastball, oh, I forgot, you got the breaking ball and changeup to go along with it. You know, most guys, Mike, have certain out pitches, maybe a split. He has 3 out pitches.
And Lance Barksdale felt it. Nick Jed Jerko. So Jed, the base runner, looks to be okay. Take another look at it.
Well, the changeup just gets away from him. And when it nicks you with 2 strikes, I will gladly toss my bat away and go down to first base. I know Jed Jerko's smiling inside. Here's that smile.
Andrew Kashner, another guy with a big fastball. When you see 88 and it's a changeup,
yeah, it's remarkable.
So here's Alexi Amarista, hitting .256, 3 home runs. One of them yesterday against Baltimore in a big day where he had 3 hits, including a couple of doubles.
Well, he's excited to be in the lineup again. He just probably wishes it was in Baltimore again. He loved hitting that with that batter's eye. Check out the way he uses his legs here. Just a little ninja. He's going opposite field. Beautiful swing. Great day for Alexi Amarista. And again, he makes Bud Black look brilliant as a manager, inserting him into the lineup.
Now he earns his way in there, as he says. Every opportunity is a chance to prove he can play. I mean, he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, he's got a lot to learn, and it has a lot to do with the big swings, and that's part of why he's in there. Just like to see him temper it down with 2 strikes. But Alexi, I'd rather see guys aggressive early, and that's what Alexi is. Aggressive in that batter's box.
Bottom of the lineup, very productive in Baltimore. 5 of 14 just yesterday. Alexi hammers this one to short. Desmond will take it himself and turn the double play. And just like that, the Padres are out of luck. Top of the 3rd coming up, and Steven Strasburg will lead off.
Spot for former Aztecs, absolutely. Tonight will not be one of those nights. For former Aztecs, absolutely. Tonight will not be one of those nights. But I pull for him in those other games that he does start, especially against National League West teams. But no, I think that's true for all of us who have a connection to our alma mater.
Buddy Black, the former Aztec himself, talking about Steven Strasburg. Strasburg, good athlete though, Mark. He can help himself. Won a Silver Slugger last year.
Oh, I love swinging the bat. And you got to use that to your advantage here in the National League. Got to help yourself. We talked about the run production for him. He's got to help himself here.
Had a home run last year. Hit 277.
I like having that first home run's got to feel real good.
That blast we saw Eric Stoltz hit Dodger Stadium.
That was awesome.
Earlier in the season. It's interesting too, because no matter how many times we talk about how good some of the Padres hitting pitchers are, Jason Marquis, Eric Stoltz, still exciting and surprising when they go out of the yard.
Yeah, Buddy Black loves talking the Aztecs. A lot of pride, Aztec Nation.
We got Tony Gwynn over there as the head coach.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
5.5. Man, did I love watching him hit.
Strasburg will bounce this one over to Cabrera and retires Strasburg easily.
There's got to be a lot of emotions going through Steven Strasburg's head. Coming back, pitching here. Last year he missed his rotation coming through here. It's got to be an exciting moment. And that man right there had a lot to do with the maturation process of Steven Strasburg. Those conversations they had, handling the media, controlling it, living up to all of that hype. Those are only conversations that Tony Gwynn and so many people can have with Steven Strasburg.
Well, he could do it all for Tony Gwynn's Aztecs. 21-4 in his final 2 seasons. Golden Spikes winner. Plays for Team USA.
Yeah, the amazing part of that is he's probably throwing harder in college than he is now. Now he's more refined, but you can see the stuff is still there. This young man means a lot to this city. And a lot of people are very excited about this game, but they're excited about the Washington Nationals here in San Diego because of what he's done for this community.
Here's Denard Span. He walked in the first. Span, one of the rare left-handed hitters as a leadoff hitter who actually has a better average against left-handed pitchers than he does against righties.
Well, you can see it's almost a slap swing. It's a very odd approach, but he tries to simplify it. He said earlier in his first at bat, he just sits, put that front foot out. You see the reactions aren't very good, so I don't know if his timing is off. That's something you have to work at, continue to work at in the cages and feel comfortable with. But this young man, when he puts it on the ground, he can run.
Very successful in his short time in Minnesota as he faces a 2-2 count here from Edinson. And that will be the third and final pitch he will see of that at bat. He will swing through that one. That is the 5th strikeout for Edinson Volquez.
You see this power fastball in on the hands and above the barrel. You got to pitch over the loop. And what I mean about the loop, when you drop the barrel, you loop that barrel, the bat underneath the baseball. That's why you want to finish him up in the zone. Nice pitch by Edinson Volquez.
Here's Lombardozzi. He struck out in the first. Well, I don't know what exactly Darren Balsley said to Edinson Volquez, but it worked. And right on track, apparently.
Well, it's keeping it simple. Darren Balsley loves this game. Now, some of you might be saying, well, who doesn't? Well, it's just a different philosophy. He comes to field, he understands he has to put a lot of time into it. And Edinson Volquez is his focus today.
He does love his pitches. You see Bryce Harper there waiting on deck. Shaken up on Monday after a meet and greet with the wall at Dodger Stadium.
And a shave down. He had a full beard when he ran into that wall. Well, the stitches on the chin are going to have something of that.
Knock the hair off his cheeks. Nice spin play by Cabrera. And that will retire Lombardozzi, and that will do it for the Nationals in the third inning. Great play up the middle. A hit for sure, taken away by Everett. You picked another good night to watch Padres baseball. We're locked in a pitcher's duel. San Diego and Steven Strasburg against Edinson Volquez. This is a good one. It'll be Nick Hundley, Edinson Volquez, and Everett Cabrera. Oh, and by the way, special guest joining Mark Sweeney and I, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Football, Texas A&M QB, Heisman winner. As Nick Hundley lifts this one to center field, Denard Span under it. It is great to have you with us, my friend. You've had a busy day today.
It's been awesome. Enjoying San Diego. It's a great place.
Yeah, how can you not enjoy it?
How can you not? Not a cloudless sky normally. It's awesome.
Now you're out here working on your skills. And what are you doing out here, and how long are you out here at San Diego?
I've been out here for 5 days. Been out here since Monday. Working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and get one more workout in 2 times a day. Get up about 7, do a workout in the morning, get a lunch, and then go back and do it again all day, trying to perfect the art of throwing a football, even though it might not be done.
How many throws you pretty much throw every day? The 2 days.
I would have to check with that,
so
but it's enough.
It's an amazing amount of work that you put in. I just loved hearing your story. I know you're out here working with George Whitfield, the quarterback coach of great note now, who've worked with Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, yourself. But the story that I read fascinated me. You go in and meet with him last year, and he was taken by your confidence, not your cockiness. There's a difference. Tell us about that a little bit.
came out and wanted to always try to be the best at whatever you do. I think if you go into something, you got to have high expectations, and wasn't performing the way I wanted to, so I needed to see the best. And I felt like Coach Whitfield was the best in the country. To get out here and work with him for a week was such a blessing for me to have that opportunity and really change my life forever.
Johnny, I wanted to ask you, too, and take us back to what I thought was one of your biggest games against Alabama, beating Alabama. Locked in that day, weren't you?
Me and Coach Whitfield talked about it a couple days before about how vaunted Alabama was, and they were a great team. They had a great year, but they were the dragon, and we were the little guy with the sword, and we had to take them out. We had to slay the dragon. And it's funny that quote between me and him, that story between me and him, has carried miles between me and him.
Yeah, and you talk about that Heisman moment. I saw the first pitch today, and that was one of the best ones. You actually went bootleg today, didn't you? You had to reenact it?
Me and Coach Whitfield, this trip has been so much work, grind, and then I had to have some fun with it. That's the main story. It's been a great day, great night. Had to have some fun, take some batting practice, even though I let it slip there for a minute. Needed to overcome that adversity and continue to have some more fun.
Were you holding on to the bat real tight?
The first time I didn't get enough behind time. I was struggling.
Here's the first pitch. Yeah, this is the first pitch. I love this, reenacting it.
I was a little too nervous when I did it in Texas. It was a great catch, too. Great catch.
Mark Kotze.
It was awesome.
That's impressive.
Very, very, very.
You got to have trust in your receivers, right?
Have to.
We want to keep you around for a little bit. We know you're busy. We got 2 outs in the inning, but I got to ask you if you'll indulge us a little bit here. As Everett Cabrera takes ball 4, 2 outs, get us a runner on for the Padres. What does a guy do with the Heisman Trophy? Where do you put it?
My dad has kind of taken over the role of protecting it or keeping it. I think he loves it more than any other possession that he has. So it's in my family with him and Tyler.
And it was a proud moment at the Heisman Trophy ceremony with your mom and dad there and your family. I mean, what did that feel to you?
It was awesome to see the way my family reacted and having they said that was the first time there's been that many really family members there. I had aunts, uncles, my mom, my dad, grandma, almost everybody. So to be able to share a moment like that with your entire family, it means so much to you. It doesn't get any better.
Now, I know you're a big golfer, and I saw that you went up to Pebble Beach. I got to ask you, on 18, did you lay up on your second shot, or did you go for it?
I don't think there's much of a layup in anywhere in my bag. It was Pebble. I'm sitting there and tallied my strokes. If I par this hole, I shoot 80. Got to go after it. Hit the driver right past the trees, 3-wood, hoping it's going to get there. Guess I needed to hit the weight room again, like the baseball, the little pitch earlier. So had to come up and make a birdie on the last hole. Kind of checklist on the bucket
79.
list. 79.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations
Thank you very
on
much.
that.
Appreciate it.
That's sweet.
Legendary course.
But you liked number 7 too, right? Isn't that beautiful?
7 was awesome. I was upset I missed the green by a couple feet, but it's fun.
You're shooting on an 80, one of the best courses in the world. Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't have been upset with anything. But it was just a great day. It was Mother's Day.
Oh, awesome.
So my mom and my dad were there. So awesome moment.
Now you're also here for Marshall Falk's event too, and playing in that. What's that going to be like? And you excited? You like getting away from football? Is that your release?
It'll be good. It's always fun. In my position, you can do so much to help so many people out, and it's just a great opportunity to be able to do things like that. I'm so blessed and so fortunate to have that opportunity. It's just great.
Everett Cabrera. It's a Padre in scoring position with a stolen base. His 13th of the season is. Kurt Suzuki can't gun him down at all.
They got to take some chances on the base pass with Steven Strasburg out there. And Everett Cabrera understands he gets on first. He's more dangerous at second base, especially with 2 outs.
Well, Suzuki has only thrown out 2 of 19 base stealers this season. Don't think Everett is aware of that. So here's Will Venable, 250, 5 home runs. He flew out to right, and he rolls this one over to LaRoche. And that'll do it for the Padres in the third. Well, Johnny Football.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the time, my friend.
Best of luck.
Great to see
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Good luck at Texas A&M this season. We're ready to lead things off for the Nationals. Folks, it's time for tonight's AT Twitter poll question, and it's a good one, we think. When healthy, folks, who do you think is the best hitter under the age of 25? You can vote on Twitter by using the following hashtags. Harper 25, Trout 25, Carlos Stanton 25, Jason Hayward, Braves 25, or Manny Machado, who we just saw in Baltimore.
Oh, what a list. I tell you what, my first eyes on Manny Machado for a series. I'm just glad it was only 2 games. That young man has a lot of ability, and he's going to change the game. We always talk about Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. Now, I think that man on the right is definitely going to be in the conversations. I wouldn't mind those 2 in the middle either.
This is a tough
great
call,
choice.
buddy. Tough call. You think about a couple, 3 of those names are only 20 and 21 years old. Here's Harper bounced into a strange double play in the first.
It'd be interesting to see Bryce Harper tonight and evaluate his at-bats. Inside he's probably still hurting from that wall collision.
Edinson Volquez, you might say, has been effectively wild this evening.
Well, it's all about getting ahead. This is an important pitch right here. The 1-1 pitch for Edinson Volquez indicates how he can attack the rest of the at-bat.
A violent swing that he is known for. Mark Loretta taking a look at it from dugout view. Mark, you and I had this game when we were in Washington last season. I know you were pretty impressed with this young man at the time.
You're right, Mike. Yeah, violence is a great word for it. He just has an intent to do damage. It's unbelievable.
But Edinson Volquez nullifies that attempt to do damage. Another strikeout for Edinson as he keeps the big train rolling, Mark.
You see this power changeup. Look at the movement late. Beautiful pitch by Edinson Volquez. When you get ahead, you can expand the strike zone. Good arm speed on that changeup.
6 strikeouts now for Edinson. Ten outs in the game, 6 of them by strikeout.
Well, you can see those numbers, Mike, right there. 438. His 4-game hitting streak. That's the reason why you're seeing Nick Hundley setting up off the plate. You go over scouting reports on the first day of the series. You indicate who you do not want them to beat you. Ryan Zimmerman's that guy in my mind. Yes, you're going to talk about Bryce Harper. You're going to talk about LaRoche. Ryan Zimmerman is a run producer.
Well, Zimmerman, the all-star that he was in 2009. First player ever selected by the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I wanted to go down to Mark Loretta down near the dugout with our poll question. Mark, out of those 5 guys, your choice?
Well, you're right, Sweens. It's tough to make a choice with that list, but I think who the best hitter is debatable. But for me, the best player all around is clearly Mike Trout. This guy can do it all. Running the bases, playing defense, hitting for average, hitting for power. I haven't seen a guy like Trout come along in my lifetime. I don't know about you.
And I agree with that, Mike and Mark. I just think it's, you can't go wrong with all 5 of those guys. But I think Mike Trout, all across the board, is a game changer.
Yeah, he can impact it on every phase of the game. I mean, just seeing him in spring training up close, the guy runs the bases as hard as I've seen. Looks like he's going to pop the pillows when he hits someone around the bases. Incredible.
Let me ask you the question this way then, guys. If you had to start your organization with one guy, I'm going to assume based on what you're saying it'd be Mike Trout.
Yes, sir.
But if he were off the board, who would it be off this list?
Oh, boy.
I'm going Machado. And the reason for it, I think he just has a calmness about him playing the game. And he's impressive.
1 out, 1 on, and Adam LaRoche sends this one deep to center field. Clear the beaches. This one's in the sand. Home run, Adam LaRoche. A 2-run shot, his 5th of the season.
Well, when Adam LaRoche gets hot, this location down and in, check out that extension he gets. That's the backspin that he produces, and when he gets hot, heads up. Talked about guys that you have to be careful with that are going to hurt you. Add him to the list with Zimmerman.
Here's Ian Desmond, 288, and LaRoche just looks better physically and mentally in the box right now, Mark.
Yeah, it's such a that.
Desmond will knock this one over to Cabrera. Nice pick by Yonder Alonso. It continues to turn in sterling defensive play after sterling defensive play. Saves an error by Cabrera. Great pick.
Well, nice job by Everett Cabrera getting him as much as he can on that throw, but helping your infielders out. Yonder Alonso with that big glove. Great job over there by Yonder Alonso.
Guys, Cabby's putting on a clinic with the range. You saw him make a play up the middle with a spin, then that went to his right. That's as big a range you'll see in the big leagues.
Yeah, Mark, and you started as a shortstop. So the range, does that impress you, or what impressed you the most about Everett?
Well, the range and the arm strength, Mark. I mean, he can just go that far and put a throw on, even to get that ball close to the bag to give Yonder a chance to pick it. Pretty impressive. I didn't have that kind of range, by the way.
You could do it all, my friend. I've seen it.
Back to Mike, what we were talking about starting a franchise, and power in the game is so hard to find that I think I might go with Mike Stanton based on his power. You saw how LaRoche's 2-run homer there changes the complexion of the game. Home runs do that.
It's a good point. That's a very good point. And the Marlins we just saw come into town here when an injured Stanton out with a hamstring injury at the time, and they really are having a tough time generating any kind of offense. LaRoche, as you mentioned, both of you, does that for the Nationals, and he'd been so cold for so long, but recently on a tear, and it bit the Padres in this inning. Here's Roger Bernardino.
Well, Mike, you look at the guy on the right, Bryce Harper. You talk to people in the Washington Nationals organization. He comes to play every single day, and they keep impressing the way he treats the game, the respect that he has for the game. And he wants to be better every day.
That's a good point, Swings. There was a little bit of criticism on Bryce coming up that he didn't respect the game. He was a little bit lackadaisical. Maybe that was out of jealousy. I don't know. But ever since he's gotten to the big leagues, he's shown nothing but respect and a great work ethic.
Well, I got his work ethic from his dad. And he says, I'm going to continue to play hard because I owe it to my dad to do that every single day. Shows you a lot about his character.
So with 2 outs, Bernardino will roll this one. Edinson will flip it to Yonder for the 3rd out of the inning, but the Nationals get on the board. Adam LaRoche, a long 2-run homer. Padres coming up. Baseball, brought to you by Sequan Casino. Real friendly, real close. By the California Department of Health. For free help to quit smoking, call 1-800-NO-BUTTS. And by the Aramco Group. Purchase, refinance, reverse. 2-0 Nationals, bottom of the fourth right now. Steven Strasburg in a nice duel with Edinson Volquez. Edinson got a ball into Adam LaRoche in the last inning that he could handle, and he drove out a 2-run shot. And that's where we stand. The Chase Headley, Yonder Alonso, and Kristen Orfia in the Padres half of the fourth. Mark Sweeney, Mike Pomeranz with you, along with Kelly Kroll as Mark Grant and Dick Enberg enjoy a night off. Chase singled in the first. And Mark, as you said, it's got to be extremely difficult to hit a guy with the best fastball in big league baseball right now on average and then have to adjust to that breaking stuff.
Well, you still got to hunt that fastball.
Headley lifts this one to right center. It'll be Bernardino for the first out of the inning.
Well, you can see that run support for Steven Strasburg. Clayton Kershaw up north in L.A. 2.74 makes it very difficult if you go deeper in the ball games, especially in the National League. Puts a lot of pressure on the manager to make those decisions and limit those innings and opportunities for W's.
Oh, with one out, here's Yonder Alonso. He grounded to second in the first inning.
You know, Mike, I look back in 1998 a lot, and we talk about Kevin Brown as that dominant guy. Steven Strasburg is that guy for the Washington Nationals. And I always had chatter about scoring one run for Kevin Brown. I'd rather score 6 and make sure it's over. But we did that a lot. You usually do that with your ace because you have expectations about him dominating a game. But mentally, that is very difficult if you're a pitcher. Constantly being on your game.
And Strasburg will strike out Yonder Alonso. Third strikeout of the game for Strasburg.
Well, that's a devastating changeup. Look at the depth on this one. Swing over the top of it, missing that by a lot. But you get yourself in positions with 2 strikes, you're going to lose a lot of those battles with Steven Strasburg. He knows how to put you away.
Look at that, 32 pitches at 95 plus tonight. Kristen Orfia wraps this one over to Adam LaRoche, who will casually flip it over to Steven Strasburg, and that will do it for the Padres in their half of the fourth inning. When we come back, Kurt Suzuki will lead off for Washington. This has been a wonderful pitcher's duel to watch. Edinson Volquez battling himself a little bit, but in the end, just very effective, aside from a 2-run shot to Adam LaRoche. And Steven Strasburg has been equally effective, matching Volke for frame by frame until just those 2 runs in the 4th, as we are now in the top of the 5th. And LaRoche deep to right center, nearly straight away. That's the difference in this one.
Actually, not a bad pitch by Edinson Volquez. Looked like Adam LaRoche was sitting on that changeup. But it is a pitching duel. Very impressive out there for both sides. Be interested to see how Steven Strasburg calmed his nerves, and you can see how mature he is on the mound.
They give it a look. First base umpire Vic Carpazza says he did not go around. So Kurt Suzuki, who struck out in the 1st, is a 1-1 count against Volquez here in the 5th. He'll wrap this one past the diving Jerko into right field. It's the 2nd hit of the night for the Nationals.
I wanted to ask about Mark Loretta down near the dugout, the maturation process as we see this Suzuki single to right. Talk about Jed Jerko and his maturation process over at second base. You impressed?
Yeah, not to jinx Jed, he hasn't made an error at second base all year, which is very impressive. But more impressively, I just really think he's done a nice job with his footwork and his hands and turned it all play extremely well.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to ask you, too, with that footwork. You were on the left side of the diamond, had to make that adjustment over to second base. The toughest play for you to make and what Jed has to work on.
Well, I think obviously the toughest play is turning the double play from second because you have your back turned to the runner. So you've got to use that base, much like we talked about in the pregame show, to really protect yourself from that sliding runner. It can be a little bit daunting if you get a throw, especially up and away from a third baseman, and that guy's bearing down on you. You got to be careful.
No balls and a strike to Steven Strasburg, who again turns to butt but pulls back, and Hundley will take a shot at a speedy Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, with a stolen base. So the Padres stole one off Suzuki, and Suzuki returns a favor.
Well, when you're ahead, you can take these chances, and Strasburg can handle the bat. Got a breaking ball, and Suzuki gets in there with good speed. You don't usually see that from the catcher. Good throw by Nick Hundley. But when you're playing ahead, you can take these opportunities and chances. Now they have a position where they can move him to third base.
Yeah, guys, just saw the third base coach come down and talk to Strasburg. It looked like he missed a hit and run there and was just fooled by that breaking ball and didn't swing the bat to protect his runner, but Suzuki stole it anyhow.
Yeah, good call.
And that'll do it for Strasburg as he takes a look at a pitch from Volquez, and Volquez records his 7th strikeout of the game.
Well, that was a big strikeout. So he had trouble with the breaking ball and the hit and run that Mark Loretta talked about. You have to go back to it.
Yeah, guys, this is a fun night to be at the park to see these pitchers. If you're a fan of pitching, and particular pitchers who can throw it hard, this is a great night. It doesn't do it justice on TV. These guys are throwing some cheese tonight.
As you guys talk about all the time, all that speed, and then you couple that with the movement. It's amazing anybody can hit 300 at this level. Here's Denard Span. Walked in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. And as we mentioned, the Nationals having tremendous difficulty hitting with runners in scoring position. Edinson Volquez like to keep it that way here.
Looks like Edinson Volquez taking a little off his fastball tonight, but the location's been better. Not on that last one. It looks like he's hitting his spots. He's in control. Got to work to get out of this inning.
Span rips a bullet to right. Bennett will come up, fire it in, and Yonder Alonso will cut it off. So Suzuki will move to third. Span is aboard with his first hit of the night.
This is our Avis Foxmo here, and you could see the positioning on this baseball. Nice head down on with Denard Span. Nice swing. The simple approach. Man, that was a nice shot. You could see the spin, the rotation on the ball. So many of those great hitters, Wade Boggs, George Brett, they talked about they could see the spin on the baseball. We didn't see a lot of the spin.
How about that? Second all time Major League history in pinch hits. First in pinch hit RBIs for Mark Sweeney. Not bad credentials. Here's Steve Lombardozzi, a strikeout and a ground out. Nick Hundley getting out of the crouch. Keep that one from going to the screen. Well, Edinson Volquez and Darren Balsley have been a dynamic duo, getting Edinson back on track. Opened the year 0-3. 1-3. Ball lifted to center field, and Amarista would start back on it, then in almost like he lost it off the bat. And Steve Lombardozzi doesn't hit it hard, but he hits it hard enough, and that'll score Kurt Suzuki. And Denard Span will move to second.
Well, part of an outfielder is reading the ball off the bat, and you can see Alexi Amarista goes back first, and he's in no man's land. Reading the ball off the bat for an outfielder, very important. I think he read it wrong there.
So that hit by Lombardozzi would break a Nationals 0-for-18 streak with runners in scoring position. And that'll bring up Bryce Harper. Bounced into a double play in an odd way in the first. Struck out in the fourth. First game back since an injury on Monday in Los Angeles. That required 11 stitches. Last year against the Padres in Washington, his first home run as a big leaguer on his way to the National League Rookie of the Year award.
He had a Band-Aid over his eye there. Band-Aid on his chin. This young man plays the game hard.
26 home runs in his rookie campaign. 10 so far this year. One run is scored, two men are on, and one out. He bounces this one to Jerko. His only play is at first base, and that'll retire Bryce Harper. Denard Span will move over to third, Lombardozzi over to second, and Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, we talked about the scouting reports. Ryan Zimmerman's the guy that you don't want to hurt you, but this is a tough situation here. You got a base open, but Adam LaRoche on the on-deck circle with a home run tonight. Edinson Volquez has to make some pitches.
Well, Volke struck out 7. He's walked 4, though. Zimmerman twice.
Good movement on that fastball. Wanted the outer edge off the plate. Now he can expand the zone a little bit. See if Ryan Zimmerman will get out of the zone. More options here when you get ahead, strike one.
That ball is laced to center field. Amarista will charge, and that'll have to be cut off by Yonder Alonso. So Ryan Zimmerman delivers a 2-out, 2-run single, and just like that, the Nationals lead 5-0.
Now just the run producer sees the breaking ball, sees it early. Nice approach, that right center approach. RBI situations using the big part of the field.
You know, guys, that looked like really the only first true mistake Volquez has made by hanging that breaking ball. The ball LaRoche hit was a change-up down. Span got a knock on a nice curveball, but that one hung up there.
That's a good point, Mark. And here's LaRoche, who takes the first pitch he sees and skies it behind second base. Cabrera will call for it. And that will be the third out of the inning, but not before the Nationals do a little bit of damage, throwing up a 3 spot. They lead 5-0. Five on the road, and they're facing Steven Strasburg down 5-0. So the hole is there. The Padres going to dig their way out of it, and Jed Jerko rakes a bullet down the left field line, and he'll pull into second with a double to get the Padres started in the 5th. 10th double of the season for Jed.
You can see jumping on that fastball, putting the hands in. Jed Jerko looks very comfortable at the plate. He's getting a little more aggressive, but also hitting the ball to all fields. That's the player that this organization talked about and raved about, hitting to all fields in the minor leagues. Power. And that's going to come with experience.
Jerko with the Padres' second hit of the night. Chase Headley single in the first, and then Jed's double here in the 5th. That'll bring up Alexi Amarista. Into a double play in the second. But the Ninja was hot in Baltimore. With 3 hits yesterday, a couple of doubles and a home run. I think 300 with runners in scoring position, and that is where the Padres have excelled recently.
You can see Ryan Zimmerman in on the grass. Alexi Amarista is not going to lay too many bunts down. This isn't a bad guy to give that opportunity for. That's in the scouting reports for Ryan Zimmerman.
Three 3-0 to count to Alexi Amarista with Nick Hundley waiting on deck. And Alexi will take a look at that 3-0 pitch. Padres trying to get something started here in their half of the 5th inning. And one of the things I think Padre fans have really enjoyed about Alexi Amarista is the energy he's bringing to the ballpark every day. Buddy calls him the perfect National League style player, as he will draw the second walk of the night issued by Steven Strasburg. It's time now for a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. Did you know that in 53 career starts, Steven Strasburg has never tossed a pitch in the 8th inning? Combination of factors there, Mark.
That's surprising to me. And, you know, the training wheels are off this year. So many pitch counts last year, the innings, so much of baseball talked about going into the playoffs last year. I think the Washington Nationals backed themselves into a corner last year, and it was very difficult to get out of. But that stat actually surprises me with the type of stuff Steven Strasburg possesses.
And Volquez had himself a good night early. A couple of rough pitches, and as Mark Loretta pointed out, really just one or two bad pitches put the Padres in a hole. Adam LaRoche with a home run, really off a pitcher's pitch, and here we are, 5-0, bottom of the 5th.
We got the Nissan Fox tracks here. You can see those pitches away, getting ahead of himself out of the stretch. That's an adjustment for Steven Strasburg. Hasn't been to stretch too many times tonight. It's all about that front foot. If it opens up, he starts rotating on his upper half.
Nick Hundley will foul this one away. And Mark Loretta, you know, you get a chance to visit the minor leaguers and to check out the big league action, and you hear a lot of talk about how the club is happy with some of the prospects on the farm. But in the meantime, up here, Nick Hundley has had himself a nice start to the season, especially considering all the challenges he had last year.
Yeah, he really has, Mike. He's bounced back great. You know, dealt with some of those concussion issues last year, and as we know, we've seen it in football, that can be a big detriment to a player's ability to perform. And Nick's doing a great job, both offensively and defensively, leading his team as a catcher and handling the pitching staff very well. So it's good to see Nick back to his old form.
They hit that one on the screws, just couldn't get it to fall. And Kyle Blanks comes in to pinch hit. Edinson Volquez's night is done, as Buddy Black and the Padres look to find a little bit of offense. 2 men on, 1 man out.
You know, you make a good point, Swains. Getting Strasburg in the stretch has really changed things here. You see, he doesn't have the command with the fastball or the breaking ball. His velocity is a little bit down. He'd only given up 1 hit before Jerko double, and it's a different guy out there out of the stretch.
Yeah, we got to look for mistakes here. Steven Strasburg.
Let's see if Kyle can get a 2-0 piece of cheese right here.
You know, speaking of guys playing healthy too, Low, got to be good to see Kyle.
Kyle's really battled injuries the last couple of years, and it's a testament to his perseverance that he's back here now.
Blanks had a home run yesterday in the 4th, a solo shot. He's dangerous.
And he pulled his hands in. That's tough. A lot of long limbs for Kyle Blanks. That had to feel good yesterday in Baltimore.
Count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Jed Jerko led off the inning with a double. He's at second base. Alexi Amarista would follow with a walk. Nick Hundley hits a bullet to center for the first and only out of the inning.
I can see Tyson Ross getting loose in the bullpen. Willie Blair, the bullpen coach. That's a scouting report in his right hand, going over the hitters, how they're going to attack him when he gets into the ball game.
That ball is ripped to Zimmerman, makes a nice play, but throws it in such a way that Steve Lombardozzi cannot make the play. And now the bases are loaded with Padres. Ryan Zimmerman has had nothing but trouble this season throwing the baseball, and it rears its head again tonight.
You can always be impressed by Ryan Zimmerman, how he handles these ground balls. What a play. But then the throw, uncomfortable, and he usually is very accurate when he throws underneath. That's the reason why he did that. But the throws have not been very comfortable for Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah, you're right, Swings. Even in between innings, watching Zimmerman throw, it looks like his shoulder or elbows bother him. He just doesn't look right with the slot.
One out now, bases loaded, and the Padres with a chance to jump right back in this one. Everett Cabrera hit 500 in that series in Baltimore, hitting 290. In these situations here. And Steven Strasburg is battling himself as much as the Padres right now.
You can see that struggle on that front side when that opens, that front foot. He starts rotating, you start losing your release point. And you can see he's all over the zone. For Everett Cabrera and the Padres, they have to look for that mistake. They don't get too many mistakes in the windup. Now the conversations start happening. Guys in the bullpen start bouncing around, getting loose.
Strasburg has not thrown fewer than 5 innings in any start this season. But a couple of hits right now will put that streak in serious jeopardy.
Guys, here's a big part of the maturation process to a young pitcher, especially one that's considered the ace of the club. When the defense has not been good behind Strasburg, he's showed some pretty poor body language this year, and this is where you have to step up and pick up your fielders right here.
And Everett Cabrera will try and pick up his offense. One out, and the sack's full, a chance to do some damage. Everett with 11 RBIs on the season. Couple of home runs. And he'll roll this one to LaRoche, who will take it himself. Jed Jerko will come in to score, and the Padres are on the board. Everett Cabrera putting the ball in play, looking for a hole, couldn't find it, but broke the ice against Steven Strasburg. And that'll bring up Will Venable. Alexi Amariste at third, Kyle Blanks at second. Well, maybe Will Venable could turn around the ball. 5 home runs on the season. One of those home runs against the Marlins in the last homestand. It disappeared into the right field corner.
Well, coming into this game, Mike, 8 unearned runs, tied for the most in major leagues for Steven Strasburg. Talked about Ryan Zimmerman. Great glove work. Bad throw. I love that shot.
That side of the infield has plagued Davey Johnson in his Nationals. 7 errors going into tonight for Zimmerman. There he made his 8th. Ian Desmond with 7 errors. But Strasburg doesn't use the defense against Will Venable there. He'll get him on the punch out, and that will do it for the Padres in the 5th. But they'll pick up a run and grab some ground. Padres 4 runs behind the Nationals in this one. Steven Strasburg battling Edinson Volquez, and Volquez's night is done. Mark Grant and Dick Enberg have the night off, and Mark Sweeney and I will handle the chores for today as we take a look at the AT&T Twitter poll results. We'd asked you, when healthy, who do you think is the best hitter under the age of 25, and some stars in that lineup, most assuredly, and Mike Trout garnered the majority of the votes, 35%. Is there a number on there that surprises you?
Yeah, the 0% for Jason Hayward. I mean, this is a guy that he can do serious damage, plays a solid right field. And without Chipper Jones, he's going to be leaned on to do some run producing at Atlanta Braves outfield. That talented outfield for Atlanta Braves. But let's understand, too, it's Mike Trout and Bryce Harper. Machado is being talked about. I think that percentage is going to go up.
So Buddy Black makes a pitching change, and Edinson Volquez's night is done. He'll turn the ball over to Tyson Ross. Big right-hander. Last pitch 5 days ago on the 11th at Tampa. Went 4 innings. Allowed 3 hits, no runs. Walked a man, struck out 3. Was in the rotation to start the year, and then hurt his non-throwing shoulder.
His first major league hit.
Too bad, but he is back and seems to be healthy. Nice to see him pitch too in Tampa in that interleague game. Didn't have to swing the bat.
Yeah, I thought he looked great out there. And this is a different role. He's done it before, but it's very difficult to get the flow into the game. Tyson's got that power fastball. Haven't seen it yet tonight, but that release out of his hands. Good breaking ball. Working on his changeup.
That ball laced to center field, and Amarista took care of business for the first out of the inning. Hey, Padres fans, don't miss Padres 80s night and Knock Around Sunglasses night. That's tomorrow night when the Padres take on the Washington Nationals at 7:10 in the evening. First 20,000 fans are going to take home good-looking pair of glasses like this, brown and orange knock-around sunglasses. Do it, Yonder. Model them for us. Be sure to buy early and save at Padres.com, or you can call 619-795-5555.
Those are sweet. I'm looking forward to seeing those.
It's a good look. Roger Bernardino splinters his bat, rolls us to Jerko for the second out. A handful of bees there. That'll go to the woodshed.
Now look about this. Blowing it up. You know, the tough play for Jed Jerko. He's got a ball coming at him and a barrel.
But Jed Jerko just looks more and more comfortable with each passing game, and Mark Loretta, the former infielder I know, has been watching him, and everybody's working with him in that capacity, and you've got to be pleased with those results.
Yeah, he's got a calmness about him. He continues to work. And I think this game is just going to slow up for him, but you can see offensively he's made some adjustments. Defensively he's done a nice job, and I think the connection between Everett Cabrera and Jed Jerko been surprisingly good this early in the season.
But it's so easy to forget, too, how long a season is and how this maturation process and the chemistry, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, and I say that, you know, and that's giving these guys a little more credit, because it takes a while to have that chemistry in the middle of the diamond. You got to be strong up the middle. If there's one thing you have to do, you got to pitch and you got to defend. I think these guys in the middle of the diamond have done a nice job to this point. He's got to be happy. Bud Black in the middle. They're going over how they're going to devise these pitching the rest of this ball game.
Well, the Nationals have had trouble scoring this season. Admittedly, they've got a 5 spot on the board right now, but if the numbers are in there any indication, they should hold tight here, and the Padres can get right back in this A lot of ball game left to be played. 2 outs, nobody on. Kurt Suzuki up, and Steven Strasburg awaiting his turn.
This copyright telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
As Kurt Suzuki will draw a walk, that'll bring up Steven Strasburg, who grounded to short his first time up in the third, struck out, and flips this one up to right field. Will Venable is there, and that will do it for the Nationals in the sixth. Stick around. Chase Headley with a chance to pump up the offense.
Bottom of the sixth, and some of you may be wondering where Carlos Quentin is tonight. Not in the lineup, but for a very good reason, as he and his wife welcome him their first son. It is Clark Quentin, and he and mom both doing great, very healthy. Of course, all of us here at Fox Sports San Diego want to congratulate Carlos Quentin. I'm sure he'll be back as soon as he gets to hold that little one, as long as he can, right, Mark Sweeney? You got to do that, just not too recent, right?
Changes your life. A 19-month-old at home.
Little Gavin.
Little Gavin. Does. It changes your life. Congratulations to the Quintins.
Here's Chase Headley. As Steven Strasburg worked himself out of some trouble in the fifth, as the Padres pick up their first and only run to this point against him. Chase singled in the first, flew out to right field in the fourth.
Well, important at bat right here, Mike, just to have Chase Headley get on first. We saw the struggles that Steven Strasburg had in the stretch. Important at bat.
Spins this one the other way, and it'll drop in for Chase, and he'll motor around first. A pop-up slide. He's in with an easy double. Nice piece of hitting by Chase Headley. Get the Padres going in the sixth.
Now, Pyro, offensively, you got to have a little bit of luck on your side, but he pulls his hands inside the baseball, and that's the love that you need sometimes. Chase Headley getting on base with that double, putting Strasburg in the stretch.
And the Padres led off the last inning with a double from Jed Jerko, and Jed would come around to score. So with Yonder Alonso up, a chance to Bring Chase Headley around, and wouldn't that be nice?
Well, this situation actually benefits Yonder Alonso. Not an opportunity to try to pull to get Chase Headley over there. You want to try to drive him in, use the big part of the field. Playing straight up in the outfield.
Something Yonder Alonso hitting .283 with runners in scoring position for the Padres tonight. 0 for 5 in that spot. Yonder will bounce this one back up the box. It'll be gloved by Lombardozzi, who will get Yonder Alonso for the first out of the inning. It'll move Chase Headley over to third.
I can see Steven Strasburg. He had full command tonight. That devastating changeup, finishing hitters off. It's about getting to that point. But nice play by Ian Desmond. You got to have defense behind you. Steven Strasburg, welcome back to San Diego. I know he feels good about this performance.
Here's Chris Denorfia.
Well, let's go back to that play at first base. Adam LaRoche keeping his left foot on the bag. It gave the impression that he came off the base. It's that veteran understanding how to handle the bag over there. Making your infielders feel very comfortable to release that ball wherever you want to throw it.
Dino drills this one to right. It'll turn around. Bernardino, he'll give it a look at the track and make the play. But Chase Headley is able to tag and score very easily. So Denorfia delivers a sacrifice fly, and Padres their second run of the night.
What a great approach by Chris Denorfia, going the other way, using the big part of the field. Off the bat, I thought it had that sound to get out of here. Roger Bernardino does a nice job getting back onto the track. Nice piece of hitting by Chris Denorfia.
And hope maybe, just maybe, the new configuration of the ballpark might help.
Well, day game, I think that's 4 or 5 rows back.
Jed Jerko bounces this one to Desmond. Athletic shortstop. Puts him away for the third and final out of the inning, but the Padres pick up one. Top of the 7th coming up.
Park. Nationals leading the Padres 5-2, and I'm Laura McKeeman, joined by Mark Loretto. We're here to get you ready for the Padres Live post-game show, and Mark started out as a pitcher's duel, and just a couple of pitches from Edison Volquez were the difference.
You're right, and I thought that pitch was a decent pitch to Adam LaRoche right there. It was a changeup down that he stayed back on, and unfortunately drove it to the beach in right center.
All right, well, we've got a whole bunch coming your way on Padres Live, the postgame show. We'll hear from Bud Black, and we'll also have an instructional about how to turn the double play from second base. Mark Loretto is the expert there, guys.
Nobody better. Sweet Loretta.
Oh, Mark Loretta could do everything on the diamond.
He'll even pick up a check for you.
I tell you what a great teammate. That means more to me than skills.
He's a great guy to have around. Padres able to keep him in the organization and doing a nice job helping out the front office. Here's Denard Span. Right back to Tyson Ross. Tyson Ross back in action for the Padres, and it got me to wondering if there's anything Mark Sweeney did not know about this guy. So I looked for three big things you need to know about Tyson. Did you know that he majored in American Studies at Cal?
I did not know that.
Did you know he grew up as an A's fan and signed with them in 2008?
Well, hopefully he was a fan. He signed with them.
That's a great point. But you know a little about his brother Joe.
Oh, I can't wait to see Joe.
I got a chance to see him in spring training. He's a good-looking prospect. As Tyson Ross will take care of the first one, and then Yonder Alonso will take care of the second out.
Yeah, we talk about Joe Ross down there at Fort Wayne. What a staff they have down in Fort Wayne. They're coming. Power arms from the left side, the right side. Sounds like Joe's going to be in that equation too.
Fort Wayne Tin Caps. Hey, speaking of those young arms, the one that's in the pipeline is going to start tomorrow for the Padres. Bert Smith will go against Gio Gonzalez as Bryce Harper crushes this ball to center field, and it is long gone. 6-2 Washington.
Well, Mark Loretta talks about his violent swing. He gets his foot down, and he can be violent on that stiff front side. Gets that foot down. That's a violent swing, but a controlled violence. A young man 3 nights ago that ran into the wall, and he's showing up for his teammates. That's impressive.
For Harper, that's his 11th home run on the season. He leads the Nationals in home runs and RBIs.
I might change the Twitter poll. Young man's got a bright future.
Well, the Nationals certainly beneficiaries of a couple of bad seasons. Need you to pick high in the draft. You have to pick well, of course.
Well, you got to pick right. And I think Mike Rizzo, the GM, and his scouting department, the philosophy is about roster construction, control of players, keeping down costs. They do a fabulous job.
Oh, first base umpire Vic Carapazza says Ryan Zimmerman did not go. And he's getting an earful from the Padres dugout.
You saw the whole infield. Check out this check swing. Oh, yeah, he did.
As Mark Grant's fond of saying, and he hit that ball, he might have driven it out of here. The crowd is letting him have it. And he flat missed that pitch. Say the Padres and Buddy Black and the fans. Hard to argue with him. But Tyson says, you know what? You don't give me the first one? How about that? As Zimmerman will go down on strikes, but not before the Nationals can pick up another on a Bryce Harper big fly to straightaway center field. Bryce Harper with a solo shot in the 7th. Tack one on for Washington, and Alexi Amarista will lead things off for the Padres. 0 for 1 with a walk in the 5th. And Steven Strasburg has found himself in a little bit of trouble periodically in this one, but the Padres unable to convert to the point that it would knock Strasburg out of the ballgame.
His 91st delivery, as you saw in that graphic. Steven Strasburg is built to go deeper in ball games. Take a look at those legs. He's riding those legs. The power fastball.
Shows you how rare the big arms are. Padres lucky to have it in Andrew Kashner. Nationals have it in Steven Strasburg. Padres should be very confident regardless of where they sit in the game. Folks, over the last 10 here at Petco, the Padres are 9-1. As Alexi Amarista lines this one foul. Alexi had himself a couple of doubles and a home run yesterday in Baltimore. Earned himself another shot in Buddy Black's lineup tonight.
Yeah, and well deserved. We talked about Carlos Quentin not in the lineup tonight. But Alexi's deserved to get some more bats, and you love that approach there. What impressed me yesterday is not necessarily the home run, but where he hit it and how he hit it.
Left center field.
He can use the big part of the field.
Again, he's just 23 years old. And Mark, I know you talk about him working on shortening his swing a little bit, maybe when he's got 2 strikes on him. But it must be tough, I would imagine, for a young hitter who can see in themselves that they have some power to try to curtail some of that when the count's against him, as he bounces a full count pitch to Steve Lombardozzi for the first out of the inning.
Well, Mike, so many times you have to fight trying to impress your manager, impress the people that are watching you, because you have few opportunities as a bench player. So Alexi takes it, and he's aggressive. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also times that you learn in the game that you have to temper those back, and you have to understand if you're a utility guy, you have to do the little things right. Alexi Amarista is on the right path.
Nick Hundley looks at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Flied out, lined out. Jesus Guzman waits on deck. Oh, Jesus Guzman has to be feeling good after the rocket that he hit out in Tampa.
Yeah, one of the best at bats of the season, in my opinion, by a San Diego Padre.
Hundley to Desmond. 2 down. So as Jesus Guzman walks to the plate, and mentioned earlier in the game, Steven Strasburg leads the major leagues in average fastball velocity, and some big arms behind him, but none bigger perhaps than Strasburg.
Well, that shows you the impressive part, and just the location of the fastballs, but also coupled with velocity. It's a very difficult matchup for the game of baseball.
We talk fastball and big fastball, and Strasburg goes 81 miles an hour.
Well, it's in your mind. You don't want to be embarrassed by a fastball offensively. Then when you start sitting on that fastball, you get that breaking ball that makes you feel very foolish. Jesus Guzman had that happen to him right there on the 100th pitch.
Guzzi can crush the fastball. I mentioned he had a big pinch hit in Tampa. It was a game-tying grand slam coming in the 7th inning off Jeremy Hellickson. Padres would lose that one in a heartbreaking walk-off fashion. A 2-run homer by Evan Longoria. See Brad Brock getting loose. Should Tyson Ross need a little help? What Tyson Ross has done is Guzzi is pinch hitting for him. It looks like Brock will be the next in line.
You still see that velocity, 97 on that last fastball. Now you see the at bat for me, sitting on all changeups. What a reaction! Unfortunately, they didn't win that ball game. The Rays came back and snatched one. But what a great at bat by Jesus Guzman. And after getting behind this at bat, battling back to that 3-2 count. 51 pitches over 95.
Hanging tough, full count, 2 outs.
Well, Mike, when you face an ace like this, the challenge for the San Diego Padres is getting him out of the game as fast as you can. And Jesus Guzman, as the pitch total rises, this is an important at bat.
Down forward, he will bounce this one sharply up the middle, but caroms off the rubber right at Lombardozzi, and that'll do it for the Padres in the 7th. Might be done as he gets congratulated by his teammates there after 7 innings of work, his team in the lead. Here's your Coors Light freeze cam, Mark, and it's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, that's sitting on a pitch and releasing the barrel. Adam LaRoche is hot, and he can sit on pitches. When you're hot, you don't miss them. When you're not, you foul them off when you swing through them. That was a big blow of the game.
Yeah, 2-run home run there in the 4th, and he'll lead things off for the Nationals here in the 8th, and he'll face Brad Brock, who has pitched in 18 games this season. 540 earned run average. As Buddy Black and Darren Balsley, a lot of confidence in him despite his early season struggles. He was so effective for the Padres last year.
Well, Brad Brock's got to feel comfortable with them standing behind him and giving opportunities for him to work the kinks out. And he didn't look comfortable in the beginning of the year. He's starting to get his stuff back. Also helps with Southland Technologies, our Fox tracks off the plate right there, getting a call by Lance Barksdale.
That'll cost you a bat, Adam LaRoche. Yonder Alonso, flip it over to Brad Brock. 1 down. Hey fans, we hope you'll join your Padres Sunday, May 19th as they honor the men and women of the U.S. Marine Corps with U.S. Marine Corps Appreciation Day. It's presented by USAA. Enjoy a special pregame ceremony before your Padres take the field against the Nationals at 1:10. Hope you'll get your tickets today. Go ahead and check out Padres.com, or if it's easier for you, go ahead and call the Padres, 619-795-5555. Every Sunday, at Petco. A chance for all of us to say thank you to the men and women who serve this country. Military Appreciation Day. Ian Desmond. 2 down. So Brad Brock getting an inning of work here. A nice clean inning. Typical for Brad is to come in, put out the fire. He usually works with some of those inherited runners and did a sterling job last season in that capacity. One of the best relievers in the National League. Here's Roger Bernardina.
Well, with those numbers, you can see, Mike, 125 for Bernardina coming into this at bat. You can see Chase Headley on the grass. You got to respect the speed of Bernardina. Just doing the right things defensively, being in the right spots. Good action on that changeup.
You know, the Nationals came into this game 13th in the National League in average, 13th in the National League in runs. 21-19 was their record. Winning ball games as you'd expect with their pitching. And they put up 6 tonight.
Well, we knew it coming in. It was going to be a pitching duel. Edison Volquez coming out, getting the strikeouts, the walks. The Adam LaRoche big swing. It's Steven Strasburg putting up more zeros than Edison Volquez tonight, making it very difficult. And there's some different makers. Bryce Harper with a big home run.
Full count, 2 outs. You got to get Bernardina here. Hitting 133 and has yet to find himself offensively. He'll fan this one out to left field. And Kristen Orfield put it away for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Padres, with just a couple of chances left, look to spark it next. Is baseball brought to you by Petco, where the healthy pets go. By Fortune 55 scratchers from the California Lottery. It's more luck for your buck. And by Mercury Insurance. Get a quote Get 2 free Padres tickets at mercuryinsurance.com/Padres. 6-2, the Nationals lead this one in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Everett Cabrera leading off against Steven Strasburg, who is about to set a personal milestone, and he does with this pop-up to Ian Desmond. Did you know Steven Strasburg, for the first time in his major league career, has recorded an out in the 8th inning?
Well, that's meaningful. Coming back home. Obviously, family members in the seats. A lot of Aztecs fans watching at the ballpark, at home. Davey Johnson loves him leading his staff. Tyler Clippard up in the bullpen warming up. Highest pitch total this year, 114. He's getting to that point right now, 110 on that last pitch.
Will Venable to Lombardozzi. 2 outs. So for Strasburg, in his 8 previous starts, he'd gotten 15 runs of support. Tonight, the Nationals hand him 6, and he's allowed only 3 Padres hits.
Really, the only part of the game that he looked uncomfortable is when he got in the stretch. Mislocation with certain pitches. But other than that, he's been in complete control.
Of those 3 hits, Chase Headley has 2 of them. Single in the first, doubled and scored in the 6th. And a Jed Jerko double in the 5th. He also come around to score. That's really all the Padres offense to speak of. Hey fans, hope you'll join us tomorrow when we see you at 6:30 for Padres Live, the pregame show. It's going to be Gio Gonzalez on the mound for Washington, and Bert Smith, the rookie, getting his 2nd start for the Padres. That's going to be a good one. Again, this is game 2 tomorrow of a 4-game set. Bert Smith against Gio Gonzalez. Bert Smith, first time out. Rudely greeted to the big leagues, but he did show that big arm that got him that promotion. Buddy Black said, you know what, this is a young man who's you're gonna get your warts. You're gonna get it handed to you a little bit. We'll look forward to seeing him tomorrow as Yonder Alonso will bounce out to Lombardozzi for the 3rd out of the inning. Top of the 9th when we come back. Kurt Suzuki, the Nationals catcher, will lead off. how they got their hands on Mark Sweeney's wedding song is beyond me.
Oh, I was loving getting out there, cutting the rug. I heard you're a established dancer.
Quite established.
It's gross.
Texas two-step. More of a country guy. Here's Kurt Suzuki, top of the 9th inning. Nationals up by 4. Brad Brock get his Padres back in the dugout. Get another shot at these Nationals.
And for Brad Brock, continue to be aggressive. These are important innings for him.
Got to stick around after the final out tonight. Laura McKeeman, Mark Loretta handling Padres Live, the post-game show. Brought to you by Cox Communications. A great instructional tonight. We got to take advantage of Mark Loretta. Solid infielder his entire career. He's going to talk about how to handle yourself around the bag for double plays. And Kurt Suzuki will lift this one to right center, and Alexi Amarista will put it away. Nice catch on the run. One down. So the Nationals will go to the bench. Chad Tracy will pinch hit. Steven Strasburg, as we mentioned, sets himself a personal milestone, going 8 innings, allowing 3 hits, a couple of runs, one of them earned. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 117 pitches, also a personal high for him this season. 114 is his earlier high. Ball lifted, and boy, Everett Cabrera. Nice running effort, just unable to make the catch. Went a long way for that one, Mark, and just could not glove it.
Well, you can see him ranging to that uncomfortable area. Tries to make a backhanded play. And the whiff by Everett Cabrera. It's a tough play.
So that'll bring up Denard Span. 1 out and a runner on. Span's 1 for 3 with a single. That'll be sure nice. Get the Padres back in the dugout in a hurry. Get a little offense going as Rafael Soriano, the Nationals closer, get ready in the bullpen. Got to keep him here, the 4-run difference. And Denard Span will flip this one foul. Hey fans, hope you'll come watch your Padres battle the Nationals on Saturday at 5:40. First 25,000 fans are going to receive a cool new Padres t-shirt presented by Cymer. So don't wait. Buy your tickets early. Save at Padres.com and call 619-795-5555 if you can wear it better than this guy.
These are sweet.
You got a life ahead of you as a model.
I love that.
That's a good looking
Long
shirt.
sleeve.
Is that 3/4 length?
I used to put this underneath your uni.
Clean back? Is everything on the back?
Why you keep asking me to show things?
Well, you're the model.
That's gross.
Got a shot to work on The Price is Right. Never know how things will work out. We'll see what's behind door number 1.
Oh, no.
Funny how you just stuff that shirt in your bag instead of handing it back to the marketing lady. That's
why wouldn't I?
One away, Denard Span, 2-2 against Brad Brock. 6-2 you score. A couple of home runs by the Nationals account for the bulk of the scoring. at least half of their runs. 2-run shot by Adam LaRoche in the 4th. Solo shot Bryce Harper in the 7th. Get him fishing. DJ Rayburn says no. Full count, 1 out. Chad Tracy is going to run on Hundley. Puts him down. No problem. And that will do it for the Nationals in the ninth. Bottom of the ninth coming up. It's the Padres' last licks. Of the game, it is the big right-hander from San Diego, Steven Strasburg, for the Nationals tonight. He'll go 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. 8 is the most he has thrown innings-wise in his major league career.
Electric stuff from the San Diegan. A lot of fans out there with eyes on him tonight. He did not disappoint. He's got some great stuff. Can finish off hitters.
He give way to Rafael Soriano, who is tied for 2nd in the National League with 12 saves.
Well, he signed a 2-year, $28 million contract with the Nationals because of the importance of getting those last 3 outs. We know that in San Diego here. We've had some great ones. He's going to do it mainly with that cutter. Look out over the plate if you're a right-hander. That cutting action. That hard fastball that cuts away from the right-handed hitter. See that action on our Southland Technologies Fox tracks.
Chris Denorfia looking for his first hit of the night. Coming a good time if he could get it here. 6-2 is where we stand as Rafael Soriano, no stranger to the closing business. Former All-Star in 2010, had 42 saves for the Yankees last year. Mariano Rivera out. They didn't miss a beat. Now he is with the Nationals. Here's Soriano.
Wouldn't that be nice being in that bullpen, leaning on Mariano Rivera's cutter knowledge?
Handful of guys in baseball can make a living with virtually one pitch. Rivera is one. Gregerson perhaps with his slider is the other. You know it's coming. You still can't do much with it.
Well, you see the occasional slider right there, the conventional slider, but he predominantly will throw you that fastball cutter mix.
Had a good rip. Padres down by 4. Need to get something going here against the Nationals closer. Nationals have yet to lose on Thursdays.
Check out the rally hats. I love the Padre faithful.
And Chris Denorfia goes down. Taking a look at that one.
Hey, Padre fans, become a part of the Padres organization with a baseball club membership. Choose the membership and ticket plan that fits your needs and enjoy exclusive events, benefits, and discounts all year long. Visit Padres.com/membership or call 619-795-5555 and become a member today.
Here's Jed Jerko. He has one of the Padres' 3 hits tonight. Need to get a little offense going. Chase Headley has 2 hits. Jed has the double where he came around and scored in the 5th. And the way the Padres have been swinging the bats in Baltimore, been nice to see it carry over to tonight, and hopefully we'll pick up a few here. A couple of guys in the stands with a shot at that one. E-Fan. Two balls, 1 strike. Count now even at 2.
And that's not too much of a cut, Mike, but it just keeps you. It looks like it's so far away, you're not going to be able to hit it. Just keeps you off the barrel. You want to be right-handed against Soriano. It might sound strange. You could see this action, the late action on the cutter. And it's basically your grip. If you talk to pitchers that throw the cutter, it's that grip pressure that they use on certain fingers that have that cutting action.
Looks just like the fastball coming out of the hand, I would imagine. And watch Soriano's grip here.
You can see it, that pressure on the fingers and that side spin as that cutting action gets off the barrel of the bat.
Here's a 2-2 on the way. For Jed Jerko, every at-bat is a learning experience here. He's seen his share of fastballs all the way up and down his career in the minor leagues, but now the breaking balls get a little nastier and the fastballs become a little more painted.
Well, it's such a difference in the big leagues, and so many people talk about that jump from AAA to the big leagues. But you talk to Jed Jerko, 139 at-bats to this point of the season. I think he's much more advanced than I expected, and I think a lot of people in the big leagues and the organization for the Padres think the same.
Zimmerman on the run and cannot make the play. That is a tough play by any stretch, and Zimmerman's had his trouble in the field, but Jed Jerko will pick up his 2nd hit of the night. Don't know if it had mattered if he'd have picked it up or not, Mark.
Well, you see it check up right there, and it came off the plate. It had certain action. When it hits that next hop right there, it bounces to the right. And Zimmerman tries a do-or-die play to barehanded, and he comes up empty.
So Jed Jerko, 2 hits on tonight. Chase Headley with a couple, and the Padres with a total of 4. Here's Alexi Amarista.
Just a solid at-bat by Jed Jerko. Yes, the result didn't look good, but the at-bat, that's how you evaluate yourself.
That's a great point. It's such a game of adjustments, and it's such a long season. You're building on the positives, as you've told me I don't know how many times in the year and a half we've been working together. You just have to keep grinding and keep working away at it.
There's so many times that you're result conscious, Mike, and you'll strike out, but you really have to go back and evaluate what pitches you missed, what pitches you fouled off,
Did you take a fastball on a fastball count? Those are the things you have to create and you have to fix.
Bernardina under this one in right. There's nowhere for Jed Jerko to go, and he'll trot back to first. 2 outs in the ninth. As Nick Hundley will stride to the plate, 0 for 3 on the evening, hitting .252. 3 homers, 11 runs driven in. Now, for what it's worth, the Padres have really come alive with their 2-out hitting. And Jed Jerko will move down to second base, as Dick Enberg is fond of saying, defensive indifference.
Yes, it is.
Exactly right. Padres hitting .277 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's second in the National League. And Nick Hundley bounces to Lombardozzi, and that will do it for the Padres. They will lose 6-2. And when we come back, Laura McKeeman, Mark Loretta are going to join you for Padres Live. That's right after a very short break. Stick around, everybody.